Hi, everybody. Welcome back. The big takeaways from this brief section on sexual paraphilic disorders are these. In this really interesting chapter, we focus only on the paraphilias because these have the complex psychological and emotional reasons behind them. It's really often a lifetime of unique experiences that are behind someone's paraphilia. So first of all, first big takeaway, it remains as critical as ever to remember that diagnosis for a sexual disorder requires deviance plus either distress or dysfunction. Remember the 3Ds discussed back in chapter 1. Deviant behavior by itself does not make up the diagnosis. It's not enough. Paraphilias, or paraphilic behavior, can exist privately in many people's lives for years and not reach an abnormal level. Just because someone is deviant or behaving in different ways that are statistically rare doesn't mean we've got a disorder unless there's distress or dysfunction. Deviance plus 1. The second big takeaway is about pedophiles or pedohebephilic disorder. That's the proper name in DSM-5. Pedohebephilic disorder. I'm just going to call them pedophiles. The pedophilia. Please be sure to read the PDF file called The Case of Jesse Temendicus. He's an example of a psychologically complex pedophile. Now, there's two types of pedophiles. I want to distinguish this psychologically complex pedophile from the predatory rapist who happens to choose a child as their victim. The predator, or this predatory rapist, is probably better considered to have antisocial personality disorder because their goal is to violate and overpower another person. Distinct from that predator, that antisocial personality disorder, is the psychologically complex pedophile that often has a lifetime of unique experiences and often a very abusive childhood. They themselves were often abused, fondled by someone else. Please be sure to read that PDF file called The Case of Jesse Temendicus to understand this type of psychologically complex pedophile. So in summary, remember the 3Ds discussed back in chapter 1. It remains as critical as ever to remember that diagnosis for a sexual disorder requires deviance plus either distress or dysfunction. And then when we talk about pedophiles, distinguish this psychologically complex pedophile from the predatory rapist who just happens to choose a child. The predator is better considered to have antisocial personality disorder. So those are the big takeaways from our chapter on sexual paraphilic disorders. Thank you, everybody.